Hey, we're going to look at area of trapezoids today. You might have done this before spring break. You might have not done it before spring break. We're going to review it regardless. Our formula for a trapezoid looks really complicated, but it's really not. It's basically the same formula for a triangle. It's just got one little step right before it. So to identify triangles, the most important thing, or to identify trapezoids, the most important thing is to remember that they have one set of parallel sides, or they have one set of sides that's never going to touch, and they have two bases. So, like if I look at these first two trapezoids, these two sides are never going to touch. Those are parallel, which means they're also my two bases for my trapezoid. And on the second one, these two sides are never going to touch. Those are parallel. So that means that they're also the two bases. So we're going to tackle this the same way we do triangles and parallelograms. We're going to start by writing our formula with our values plugged in. So I'm going to start with 1/2. My two bases are 8 and 5. It doesn't matter what order we write those in. And then the height, remember we said we're to find the height, we're going to look for the right. Well, I have two right angles over there. So my height is going to be 4. So if I want to solve this, I'm going to use order of operations, at least to start off with. I'm going to do this 8 plus 5 first. And I know 8 plus 5 is 13. So I'm going to do 13 times 4. Again, I always like to do this part before I worry about the half. So 13 times 4, I know 4 times 3 is 12. And then 4 times 1 plus 1 is 5. So I get 52. And then if I want to divide 52 by 2, you could also just figure out what half of 52 is. But 2 goes into 5 twice, which is 4. When I subtract, I get a 1, bring down a 2. And then 2 goes into 12 6 times. So I get an area of 26 meters squared for that first trapezoid. Okay, going right to our second one. We've already identified our two bases, so we're going to plug it into our formula. I have 8 and 6. Again, it doesn't matter what order you do that in. But if I want to look for my height, again, I'm looking for the right angle, which is right there. So it's going to be 4. So I know 8 plus 6 is going to be 14. And I'm doing 14 times 4. Well, on this last one, we just did 13 times 4, and we got 52. So if I just have one more group of 4 on there, that means I'm going to have 56. Or, I mean, you could multiply that out the regular way, but we just did this right here, which helps me get the answer for that second one. So it's 56. I'm going to figure out what half of 56 is. So 56 divided by 2. Again, 2 goes into 5 twice, which is 4. And then I bring down my 6. And 2 goes into 16 8 times. So I get the area is 28 units squared because we don't have any labels on there. Okay, we're going to do one more together just to make sure you've got it. This one, so very similar to the last one we did, but we have two parallel sides right here. Oh, sorry. And we are going to fill in our formula. So I've got A equals 1/2. My two bases are 30 and 20. And then my height, again, we're looking for the straight up and down line, is 12. So I'm going to add those two first. Well, we know 30 plus 20 is 50. And then 50 times 12. 2 times 0 is 10, or 0, and then 5 times 2 is 10. I'm going to add a 0, and then I'm just multiplying by 1, so it's going to be 50. So I get 600 And then this is the easy part right here. 600 divided by 2, or half of 600, we should already know, is 300. So my area is 300 centimeters squared. So just to review that, you have to add your two bases up, then multiply the half, and then divide by 2. Remember, if you're not using that formula correctly, or you're not using the correct formula, you're not going to get these right. So make sure you're following these steps. If you need to rewatch this video one time, that I would definitely recommend it.